Hello, we're back. Welcome to Gaia GPS for the week of January 2nd, 2017. I am Mimi and I am here with Nicole Oman.
Hi, how are you? We missed you.
Yay! And so we're going to kick off a big week of shift for 2017. So we are beginning today, Monday, January 2nd, with the moon in Pisces. And the moon in Pisces is going to be joined later by Venus in Pisces. And all these energies together, we have 7 different planets, entities, energies hanging out in Pisces. So it's very watery energy. And I'm going to begin with my Angel Prayers Oracle card because I think this is really great for Pisces energy. I've got don't hate, meditate. Thank you, angels, for guiding me to love through meditation. And that's kind of the energy that I'm getting with this. I say this in the horoscope, but I can see this. I can see the people who are doing really well in the flow right now. You know, they're not trying to control it. They're not really judging what is. They're just kind of in their flow and just making the best of it. And they're really finding that success energy. Here I've got the Success card by Osho. However, there are some people who are in the flow going down into those muddier emotions, which are there, you know, there to be processed. I've got the Sorrow card as well in this energy. Here's the thing, if it's coming up to be processed, this is part of your integration. It's so funny, we were just talking about this. Nikki and I were just talking about Pluto, you know, the light and the dark, integrating the energies. Don't hate. Meditate, get into this energy, work with this energy, and then keep redirecting your focus where it wants to be. Pisces are the fish, so they can get really turned around and start going with the, you know, oh, all the fish are swimming this way, I'm going to go with all the fish this way. This is your personal process. This is your personal path of your personal integration. This is your foundation for 2017. So integrate the lessons. Don't hate, meditate. Stick with yourself, but you don't have to get sucked in, I don't know, that whirlpool, the whirlpool effect, my mom always used to call it, the whirlpool of like getting sucked into this place of negativity for this year. Integrate it, work with it, process it, recognize that shadow as, you know, part of it, and then keep moving. What feels good? Move into that success. You have that ability to bring in that magic, bring in that Pisces magic, and shift those energies. I've been really feeling called to use the archetype cards a lot too during Capricorn, so I'm using them for this too. And I have the archetype Scribe. And the light attribute is preserving knowledge and information, and the shadow attribute is alternating or altering facts or plagiarizing others' works. What I'm getting with this Scribe thing, and it goes kind of with that don't hate, meditate, is writing down the process that you're in, writing down that pain. You can, you know, rage, get that stuff out. But then with the shadow attribute, it's like you don't have to sit there. You don't have to believe everything you think. You don't have to believe everything that you say. You don't have to believe all this energy. Get it out, write it out. But then let that be your release point instead of like marinating in it, is the energy that I'm getting with that shadow attribute of the Scribe. I also think with the shadow attribute of the Scribe is taking on others' things. You know, Pisces energy can tune us into our own intuition. So not taking on other people's, this is how it is. You know, I think that might be part of that plagiarism energy. You don't have to take that. Let yourself be guided. Don't hate, meditate. Nicole?
You know, it's funny because I'm kind of getting that energy too. Is like, be careful what you're empathing. Be careful what you might be feeling from somebody else. It's like you don't have to take responsibility for their opinion or what their judgment or what they're going through because they might be mirroring it on you. What we have to do is just take responsibility for the way we react to them doing it. But we don't have to take responsibility or take their opinion on because they might be going through something and they might be like putting it on you. And that's where, because I know a lot of Pisces and they're like, well, we don't really like boundaries. And because we're water doesn't like boundaries. But that's also where you have to remember who you are. That's that don't hate, meditate. You don't have to take on everybody else's stuff like Mimi said. But really sitting in your pocket and going, is that really mine? No. Okay. Thanks. Thank you. Because in this Piscean energy, it gets like super dreamy and it gets kind of hard to navigate sometimes, especially, look, I'm a Virgo, so I'm sitting on the opposite end of the coin looking at the Piscean energy going, That's interesting. And I do pretty well. Actually, one of my biggest mentors was a Pisces until we didn't anymore. So, it's like one of these things of learning how to stay grounded in that Piscean energy. And so what I'm getting with the moon in Pisces, and because we're getting hit up with the Venus energy with it too, there's a bit of a double whammy here. So I have the dream card in reverse underneath all of this. So be aware of your own daydreams kind of thing, like getting swept up into a fantasy, like getting a projection. Thank you. Yes, Mimi has a projection card. So getting caught up in your own projections on other people, projections of what you think that person, there's a lot of, I had a client, she's like, I met this guy and I thought he was the guy. Then he went to Thailand and met another woman. And I was like, and she got really disappointed. And I was like, because you saw an archetype that you really liked, but you anchored into him instead of just going, oh, it's him, not the feeling or like, that's what I want to bring in. So I was like, but still that was rejection, was God's protection, because he wasn't the one, but he mirrored to you the energy of what you needed, right? So it's a little bit more of that. So it's like, don't anchor into anybody, because we're in Pisces. Don't anchor it yet. Don't anchor to the projection. Don't anchor to a specific person, but really get more into the feeling of like, oh, that's what I want to bring in. That's what I want. Because I have this this playfulness card in reverse, where this is kind of like, are you getting caught in your innocence, or are you just getting caught in childlike behavior? And so being aware of that, being aware of where the playful child might be getting a little too creative. Not, how can we get too creative, but getting a little bit like putting stories onto people that maybe that's not the path that you're supposed to go on. And it's like, it's almost like sitting at base camp, imagining like, that's the path that I really want to go on. And then you start walking that path and you're like, this is not what I expected it to be at all. So be careful of projecting on to people a path that you think is right for them, or you think their path aligns with yours and they really don't. Because after all of that, we have this transformation card in reverse. Because we're getting stuck in a fantasy a little bit, we're getting stuck not transforming what really needs to be focused on. So that means to, you just need to be aware, because there is a completion here. There is an end, but your fantasy might keep you away from the completion. It's like the Capricorn wants to like ground it and end it, but the Piscean energy is like, no, let's keep you in fantasy. So we just kind of delay the inevitable kind of thing is what I'm getting. I hope that makes sense.
Interesting. Oh, are you still going? Go.
I have the last card I have from the Wild Kuan Yin deck, and I really love these cards. Above you, the Lantern Dancer. So what this is saying is like, things are happening. There's one thing happening in your reality, and then but you have to really connect to the actual light, right? And not like, where's the light? Not the shiny thing. Not that, like, I keep getting this energy like a moth to a flame. Are you becoming a moth to a flame and following someone else's light, thinking that that's the answer, and you're like the bug, and they hit themselves. I had a bee in India that would keep hitting itself on the light bulb, and then it went nuts and it started spinning around in circles and it passed in front of me. And I was like, oh, because you were looking at the wrong light. You gotta look at the actual light, not the delusion, says the Virgo.
Right? Well, what's interesting, moving into this Venus into Pisces thing, is Venus is actually going to be going retrograde in 2017 and retrograding back into Pisces. And Venus is going to be moving over Neptune. It's going to be moving over Chiron. And so one of the things that's coming up, which reminds me of what Nikki was saying, is karmic ties. old karmic relationships are going to be, you know, and it's like, oh, this thing, these projections, it feels so good. There's this light, there's this thing. And so this energy is, you know, is shifting. What I love about the cards that I have.
I just pulled it as you're talking.
There you go. There you go. It's gonna be later this year because it's gonna go not that much later in this year. I mean, it's gonna be like in, is it March or April? I don't remember dates and whatever time irrelevant. But it's gonna come back. It's gonna move mostly through Aries and then just go back right just a little bit into the Pisces energy. But I think this is a big thing of like that's gonna be this release of this energy. And so it's going to be really aware of these projections. Find your own light. Go back into that integration card. That's one of my focuses for all this Pisces. Pisces is the culmination of all the signs. It's all of the signs. So it's, you have the integration card?
Yes. They pulled together past life and integration.
Yeah. So it's like coming into your own light. I keep talking about this union of the chakras within yourself, and you don't need somebody else's energy. And I have this for Venus and Pisces. I have this maturity card. And look, I mean, sorry, it's dark here, but all of the colors in that is all of your color. That is all of your light. Maturity is when you're sitting in yourself. This is the Ace of Pentacles. So it's sitting grounded within yourself. And so in this Pisces energy, you know, there's going to be that tendency to float. But come, sit in yourself. Don't get in other people's projections. And what I've got this rebirth card. And look, here's this rebirth of this innocence. And look at all this light around yourself. So there's beautiful energy with this, with Venus moving through Pisces. But you may have to navigate some of these things and really find that center within yourself where you're sitting pretty in yourself. Don't hate, meditate. Don't focus outside of yourself. Keep coming back into yourself. From the archetypes, I've got a really interesting card. And this may be a big part of this. I have been seeing this a lot. I have the vampire card. So the light attribute makes you aware that someone or something is draining your light force. And I find this a lot in these, you know, karmic energies that somebody's like, this light that you have, I love this light that you have. This may even be you who's doing this. I love this light that you have, and you keep getting attracted to this energy and taking this energy because you haven't found where the light is within yourself. You haven't found this maturity within yourself. You're still projecting it on the other person. So this vampire card is like being aware. Maybe somebody's doing that to you, and that may be this karmic energy, this boundary you need to cut. The shadow attribute is depleting others for what you think is your psychic survival. Chronic complaining and codependency. Venus and Pisces, that can get caught into that illusion and into that codependent energy. So it's really come back into yourself, into this maturity. And from the angel prayers, this is so good. This goes along with Nicole's transformation card she pulled. I pulled change and transition. Archangel Azrael, and says, thank you, Azrael, for leading me safely through this change. And the expanded interpretation is change can be a challenging process, especially if you fight it. Know that you're supported at this time, and these changes are bringing blessings into your life. You may be faced with a feeling of fear and not knowing what the next stage is, but there are plenty of doors opening and opportunities being presented to yourself or to you. Allow yourself to go and welcome the new and exciting energy that's being brought to you, and close those old doors. So this is going to be an ongoing process, you know, as Venus does this dance. But be aware of it as Venus is now moving into Pisces, because you're going to feel those raindrops. Nicole?
This is going to be a process. And I'm like, I'm laughing so hard because as I'm pulling the cards when you're talking, I'm like, maybe I should wait till she's done talking, because I'm basically pulling everything you were saying. I was like, oh my God, okay.
We're in alignment. It's been months, but we're still us.
always. And I'm pulling the cards and I'm like, oh, well, there's that, there's that, there's that. So the first cards I pulled, and I pulled them together, and this is the past position, is the past life card and the integration card, you guys. Did not just say that. So it's like we have these past lives and they're coming through. Now they're here to be integrated within you. So if you have this past life connection, you can get in this story, this really fantastic story of like, oh, I met this past life guy. We have such a connection. He's the one. But just because he was in a past life with you doesn't mean he's the one. Just because you have a connection doesn't mean it might be this fantastic, amazing relationship. Imagine you getting a snapshot of an ex-boyfriend that you had, of the snapshot of the best time you've ever had with him, but you didn't get all the information of how it ended, and it might have not ended good, and you might not have liked him at the end of the relationship. And then you find this past life guy, and all of a sudden it's really great and connected to begin with. Then when the reality sets in, you start really getting to know his shit or hers. You might realize, like, oh my God, I'm back in this darn pattern again. What is going on? What's going on is something wasn't integrated. Something wasn't integrated in that past life, and something wasn't integrated in this life. So when I have a past life come up, I go, how can I work with it in the present and not get so caught up in the past life, not get caught up in the fantasy of it? How can you use the information of that past life to realize, to snapshot, to pinpoint what is going on for you in that moment, right? So what are they mirroring to you, and what needs to be integrated? Maybe it is that vampiric energy. So empaths are a lot of spiritual people, a lot of empaths, people who feel a lot, which Pisces brings up a lot of empathy, empath energy, tend to gravitate, you'll hear this, gravitate to narcissists, or get this vampiric energy. When we get vampiric energy in relationships, whether we vampire them or they vampire us, what happens is it becomes like what Mimi was saying, was codependent. And so as we get into these codependent relationships, we feel like we need that other person for us to be complete, where really we have to find our totality, or, like, I love this integration card, we have to find our wholeness. So then it just becomes somebody growing with you instead of your other half. So like that old paradigm, oh, they're my other half. Well, you're already full. So it's more like two fulls are walking on a path together and you grow. And so we have to get out of this old paradigm of other half. And as you complete that, and by the way, it will be a cycle. So this whole Piscean, what she was saying is Venus, and then Mercury, and then the Venus retrograding back into Pisces. This is going to be a full cycle of completion around the codependency issue of this past life relationship, this past life paradigm, more than it. So it's more about the lesson you're learning than the actual person that is bringing it to you. If you get too caught up in thinking like this is the dude or this is the lady, what you're going to do is you're going to suffer, because if it doesn't turn out by the way that you felt like it should, you're going to go back into that disappointment paradigm. So we got to pull our power back a little bit and realize it's more of a lesson for ourselves than it is about the expectation of the way that it's going to end. It's not about the destination. It's going to be about the journey that you're going to go through in the next cycle of 8 months. And so then the Wild to Kuan Yin card. Oh, good. That is Mimi. From the Wild Kuan Yin card, I have the Princess of Purity leaps across. So this will be a leap that you will go through. You're going to learn a lot of lessons in the 8 months. And so the one way that you've been doing these codependent relationships with people, you're going to leap across and find an entire new way of being in relationship. And my Relationship 101 book, if you want to pick it up, is The Mastery of Love, where Don Miguel will talk about wounding, how when we have wounding and how to work with it, also how to get out of the codependent paradigm and more into what actual love is. And it's different. And that one transformed me, and that's why I was able to have a very authentic love. It's not pretty all the time, but it's authentic, that's for sure.
I don't know. I love your relationship. I think it's real. You know, it's authentic, like you said. So I'm a fan.
It's real. It's not always rainbows and butterflies and great and amazing, but it is always great and amazing at the same time. It is great and amazing because me and him are very, very authentic. We tell each other freaking everything. And by that, he's forgiven me for all the shit I've ever done to him. And I have with him. You know, we've got our issues. But we're totally in love with each other's shadow. And that's the thing. It's like we know each other's shadow, we know our shadow, and we can fall in love. If you can fall in love with someone else's shadow, that's when you know that it's going to last, because there's less betrayal. You just know each other's shadow. Just, oh, that's him doing that again. Oh well.
Not personal. I'm not going to take it on. It's not my thing. This is his thing, and I love him. He's
working it. He's working through it. What am I going to do? He got triggered. Okay, we're in it again. Because when I get triggered, he has to go through my shit too. You know, it is what it is. All right, so tangent.
Yay! Our first tangent of the new year.
Well, I was like, I knew, like, I felt the energy of like how you were going to leave, and they were like, just keep going. I was like, okay.
Computers. I'm getting a new one once Mercury goes direct. But speaking of Mercury, on Wednesday, Mercury is retrograding back into Sagittarius. So Mercury back into Sagittarius. With Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, we've been working at shifting this control. Mercury retrograde is such a great indication for where you are at in your control issues. When I'm going, over here because my computer turns off in the middle of this, that's a good indication where I'm at when it comes to my control issues. Yay, technology, for giving us a really clear energy. However, moving back into Sagittarius, Mercury in Sagittarius is about taking aim with your thoughts, with your communication. And I've got the travel card. So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is coming back in to help expand your horizons. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean take a trip, although it could mean go expand your horizons, do something new, do something you haven't done before. I actually have the playfulness card with it. So that may be, your best bet in this energy. But to me, even more so, it's about keeping that focus. What feels good? What lights you up? What lights your fire? What do you want to take aim at? Where do you want to go in your life? What are you taking aim for? Where do you want to go? It's not necessarily like, I want to go to Bali and I'm going to take this trip to Bali. It's like, I want these things in my life. I want to feel this energy. I want to feel playfulness. I want to have fun in my life. And being able to take yourself into that energy with Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. It's only going to be in Sagittarius for a little bit. It's going direct at the end of this week. Yay! So we're coming to the end of this retrograde energy, but it's coming back in here being like, this is your control. This is the only control you have, to be like, this is how I want to feel. I want to have fun. I want to be in a place of expanded horizons. I want to enjoy myself. I want to feel like this clown lady here who's like sparkles everywhere. You get to decide that. And so you get to choose how you're going to walk that way. What I love is count your blessings from the angel prayers. It says, thank you, universe and angels, for the blessings in my life. This is one way to get here. Sometimes we get so focused on what I do want, what I don't have, all those things. This is how you get there, by already recognizing that fun, by already recognizing those expanded horizons in your life. Now, the other card I have is so fascinating with this, and it goes so well with everything we've been saying. I have the Thief archetype card. Sheds light on the light attribute, sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. And I think this is a reminder from what we were saying with this Pisces energy, is that this light is within you. This joy is within you. It's not from that car that you want. It's not from the lover that you want. It's not from any of those things. That's why it's a thief, because sometimes we're like, this is my thing and it can be stolen from me, so I'm going to fight for it. And it's like, no, that's not it. This joy is within you. So recognize this with thief energy, that this energy can never be taken from you when it's really authentic in you, in your light, in that maturity energy. The shadow attribute is stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers you think you lack. Or I even think the shadow energy of thinking that somebody can steal your joy. Because really, unless you give away that power, that doesn't really happen. So count your blessings, aim your focus on what it is you want to be, whether it's playful, whether it's you want to be loving, what is it you want to be? Train your arrow on that energy and let it come in, and recognize that it's already in you and you don't have to go searching for it. You just get to expand into it. Nicole?
Well,
Echoing? Do I need to mute myself?
Yes. Do that. I'm echoing. Okay, perfect. So me and Mimi were talking about competitive energy before we got on here, and the thief energy reminds me of the competitive energy. Competitive energy comes from somebody or yourself feeling like if somebody has something, then they're taking it away from me, so I have to compete with them. A lot of times, we as women, that's the way we play it out. We play it out because that's kind of how we were conditioned, because there was a certain property to us. We didn't have as many opportunities as men, so whatever man we got is what we got, right? So what we had in our life. So if and this comes very, very strongly when it comes to women in competition with other men, and it's really easy to compete with other women when it comes to relationship. But that thief thing, if it's yours, nobody can take that away from you. That means career, that means relationship. If you're contracted to something, if that is really your divine purpose, relax. You don't need to compete with your purpose. You don't need to compete with your actual mate, or compete for your actual mate is more like it. So if it's not coming to you, you don't have to scrap for it. Relax. It's not yours. Let it go. Let it go. Because guess what? If it's theirs, it's their lessons to learn. Let your lessons come in. Don't get in someone else's story. So that's a lot of the energy that's coming through. What I'm getting with the Mercury retrograding back in the Sagittarius is, sorry guys, some things are still not complete. We're still changing. So that shadow period, as we go into the shadow period, you're still going to get more lessons of this Mercury guy, because we still haven't been complete. And what I'm getting for the lessons that we're still needing is this isolation card. So a lot of this is also betrayal. This is also that competitive energy. I am feeling a competitive energy popping up that could like mirror something that's happened in the past for you, and it has betrayed you or stabbed you in the back. So maybe a competitive energy is coming up. Maybe a woman in your past had stabbed you in the back, and maybe someone else is mirroring that to you right now. And that old betrayal paradigm could be coming up and can really start freaking you out. But don't worry, whatever's coming up this time is different. It's just being able to integrate it and change it so this paradigm kind of ends. So you start to realize, the more that you anchor into surrender and realizing that there is no thievery. So this is anchor to fly. Anchor in to what is mine cannot be taken. What is mine cannot be taken. What is mine cannot be taken. And as soon as you anchor into that, if everything falls apart for you, effing let it, because then it's not yours. What needs to go, and we're holding on to things that aren't ours, maybe, and so if people are, is that what you let it go? Yes, and let it go. Don't hold on to anything that's not yours. Let gravity, and she's going to talk about it, but let gravity pull it away from you, because gosh darn it, if that's not your dude, let him go. If that's not your job, let it go. If somebody wants to take your position, let them take it. If it's yours, the universe is going to pull you right towards that. Gravity will anchor that to you. So what we have to do is anchor to the feeling that we want. We want to anchor to the things. I would like to make more money. I would like to, but not anchoring into how it has to be. Because if you're going, I want to make more money, and that girl just took my promotion from me. And it's like, well, that wasn't your promotion. Maybe you needed to be fired to get that other job, because that's how you're going to make more money, right? So it's like not worrying about how it happens. Let it all fall apart if it needs to fall apart. And that might be scary, but you're going into the change card. So it might be that. It might be that dramatic, but it doesn't have to be dramatic for you if you realize, what is mine, I cannot lose. What is mine, I cannot lose. What is mine, and I cannot lose it. Let the rest of it go. Let the pieces fall where they may. I think me froze. Bummer. So Mimi just dropped. Her control issues are up, I think. All right, let's go into the moon in Aries again on Wednesday. So we have the moon in Aries. Let me pull my cards. I pull them live. So, oh, we got integration again. There's memes. Oh, and she's yellow.
I'm on my phone. Look at all the different colors that my room can make depending on the technology. So when my computer reboots because it turned off, I was like, let me try my phone. My phone's all up. So did you start with the thing or do you want me to go into?
I just pulled the card. So we're in moon in Aries, but I did not even start.
Good. Then I will go. Moon in Aries. I'm going to start with my MasterCard, the Osho MasterCard. And what comes up with Aries? We just had Uranus go direct in Aries. And so this energy is the energy of taking action. It's the energy of the I am. And I've got the MasterCard, I've got the Let It Go card, and then I've got the Go with the Flow card. And what I'm getting with this is, the letting go energy. We're like, right now, it just seems like, after 2016 was so intense, we're seeking the light. We want the light. We want this light energy. And we've been talking about not getting it outside of ourselves. But Uranus retrograde really had us going in and remembering, liberating pieces of ourselves, pieces of our light. And so to me, this moon in Aries, which is building into, which we're going to talk about with the next aspect, it's building into this Sun conjunct Pluto energy. But as it works through and in this energy, it's really asking us, can you step into who you are? Let go of these other things that you are not. Be in your personal flow. And it's like this I am. It's not in the other. It's not this codependent energy. There's this energy that's this emphasis on yourself in your life. And it's really funny. I pulled from the archetype cards a blank card. I haven't filled out these blank cards because I'm like, I just don't really know. I haven't really figured out the archetypes. And so it's like this blank card's like, who are you? You get to decide. You get to be the master of this. This isn't for me to tell you. This is your archetype. So I was like, okay, I want an archetype card though still, even with that blank card. And I pulled storyteller. So it's like, you get to tell the story. You get to decide, this is who I am. It's the ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. You are this master, letting go of what you are no longer and stepping up in the flow of what you are. Now, I gotta say, I love this other card that I have from the Keepers of the Light too, because I have the synchronicity card. But here it is, look at the picture. It's the yin yang thing. It's that integration energy. And so it's saying, thank you, angels. I trust your well-timed guidance and signs. If there's more of you that wants to come up and come forward, it's doing it. It's flowing it. What you need to be is just in yourself, your whole self, the light and the dark, embracing it, integrating, coming into this union within yourself. The Sun conjunct Pluto, which we're going to be building into, that shadow energy, that dark energy, you're going to feel that. It's okay. It's okay to allow that energy to come forth. Keep letting go what needs to go. Keep integrating what needs to come. Keep finding the light or the light that's integrated in this energy. It is working for you, but you've got to show up and be willing to be yourself. That's that MasterCard, and that's that Aries energy of I am. So it's not really going to be like this, so much of that Aries action, but it's going to be in this flow of yourself and letting yourself come forward in that way.
I get a very similar energy with this. I have the integration in reverse, so there's that yin yang card. So there's things that have still not been integrated with you. Are we getting this message yet? Are we getting that still things need to be integrated? And what needs to be integrated? So there might be a little bit of a shakeup around, maybe a fight will happen, but the fight is not something to be feared. It's actually a breakthrough. The fight might be someone crossing your boundary to the point where you're like, enough, and really needing to own yourself. So this is someone coming in to their sense of peermanship. So it's like, maybe someone bullies you or gives you their opinion and really wants to throw what they think for your life, or even your partner. And this is saying, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be scared to shake this up anymore. That's enough. This is who I am, and I don't need to feel ashamed for this anymore. This is your it. I hate to do the projection. This is your issue, not really mine. I'm going to claim who I am. And so as you claim who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly, what happens is then you don't have to be shamed for your shadow self, for your dark side type of thing. It's like, how does your shadow work? Where the things we judge ourselves, who shamed us for those things? Because were they bad, or are they labeled bad because someone just didn't like that about you and you just labeled that, or they don't like it because it mirrors something in them? And so the mind can get you all raveled of like, what's mine and what's theirs and blah, blah, blah. Unravel all of that. Unravel. Who cares for who's what? It's all a mixture of both. Pain is just love confused. And right now, if you are having an issue with somebody in your life, and it's causing you guys pain, it's because it's love confused. Nobody knows what to take responsibility for. But it's all, everybody's wounded, all connected to each other. Everybody's pain body, all twisted and blah, blah, blah. But just know that the harvest mother watches over you. And that as all this stuff shakes up and loosens up and breaks free and breaks through, it's like the Tower card, all this energy, she is watching over. There's order in the chaos. There is order in this chaos, and that you don't have to control it. You just let the mind unravel, because that's what really needs to happen. And just be led by the path before you. Just go with it. Go with the flow is what Mimi had, even if it breaks free, breaks apart, or like you have a thing, just go with it. Don't worry about who's to blame. You're both to blame. Everybody's to blame. Who cares? You know what? It's all about just navigating rather than trying to figure out who was responsible for what. You're both responsible. It's the pain. You're unraveling pain. It's messy. It's okay to be messy, right? So trust the mess, says the Virgo. Trust the mess. Trust the mess.
That's what I was laughing about too. Says the Virgo. Trust the mess. Okay. Yay. Back on the computer now. I'll be your Gemini rising, coming to you from multiple technologies. Working into Friday. So on Friday, we're combining this into one. We have the Sun conjunct Pluto. This is happening at 17 degrees, which is that degree of 8. So I always look at 8. That is the Capricorn degree. But that's that degree of really showing up in this energy. And we have the moon moving into Taurus on Friday, which is like, you got to be here on this earth. And I just pulled some cards for it, and I pulled the integration card in reverse. This is our theme this week, integration, coming into union within yourself. But part of this coming into union with yourself is recognizing the yin and the yang. It's recognizing the light and the darkness, the shadows within you. And what I have, which is really interesting in alignment with this, is I have the gossip card from the archetypes. And the gossip is awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honor and trust. That's the light attribute. The shadow attribute thrives on the power of passing on private or secret information, betraying confidences. It is so easy to see somebody else's shadow and concentrate on somebody else's shadow, even as a light worker, to be like, oh, this is your thing that's wrong, and this is your thing that's wrong, this is your thing that's wrong. With this energy, Sun conjunct Pluto, it's not asking you to gossip about or look at anybody else's stuff. This is about you, your personal integration within yourself. It's about looking at your shadow, being honest about your shadow. We've all got them. Even the best of us have shadow energy. Even the best of us carry things that, I don't want to say we could be shamed for, but people could find to gossip and shame us for. There's always going to be something, but it's up to you to work on this energy, and we all have it. And there's power in recognizing it and working with this energy. I've got the source card as well as this. This is you. This is your origin. This is this energy. So it's coming in, getting grounded, participation, working with this energy. Look at all these circles. This is all this energy of completion coming in. I've also got the change energy. Look at all these circles. It's all of these circles. It's like be in the full circle of this energy. The moon in Taurus is really interesting because the moon in Taurus attunes us to our worth, and it can attune us to our talents as well. And sometimes going into the shadow can actually help bring forth our talents. Going into the shadow may potentially, in your mind, undermine your worth. Like, if I admit this thing about myself, nobody's gonna like me. I saw the greatest thing. It was a video, and a guy's like, here's a $20 bill. I'm gonna tear it a little bit. Guess what? You still want it because it's a $20 bill. I'm gonna fold it and bend it and crinkle it, write on it. You still want it. It's still a $20 bill. It still has its worth. That's that energy of this source. Whatever you've been through, you're still this $20 bill that has this worth. You're more than a $20 bill. You're like $1 million bill or $1 billion bill. Let's not put a quantifying number on it. But you are this big energy. You're this big energy, but you've got to recognize where you're holding back because of this shadow and start to trust that that shadow is part of your process. It's part unwinding your process, and it does not take away from your work. So be vigilant. Don't start focusing on other people's things. That's a really easy path to go down. It's really easy to see. But a lot of times too, you know, sometimes when we see, it's showing you, oh wait, hey, there's something in me. If I'm wanting to focus on that, there's something in me that's mirroring this, and coming back into that and looking at that mirror and seeing where does it take you within you. From the Keepers of the Light, clear your vibes, Archangel Metatron. There's a badass angel to help you with this energy, to help you in this shadow. It says, thank you, Metatron, for clearing my energy field. You may need some help looking at this shadow energy in this. You may need some help recognizing your worth, despite the tears and the crinkles and all the things that you've gone through. Call on this help. Call on this angelic energy to come clear your vibrations so that you can show up fully and trusting in your worth, despite this energy. The nice thing is we're going to be building into it, and then it's going to pass, and then you're really going to, like, okay, move forward into the next lesson, whatever that may be. Nicole?
Yeah, I'm getting that there is a very interesting difference between gossip and working something out. So a lot of times there are mirrors. People mirror something to you. And if we go within, sometimes we get caught up all up in our heads, and we caught up in our mind, and we don't know what is ours and what is someone else's. And me being a Gemini rising, a lot of times I have to talk through it to see if it's a projection, or if and it's me, or if it's somebody projecting onto me and they're trying to throw all their shit on me, and then I need to cut it off. And sometimes I judge myself because I'm like, am I talking bad about them? I don't mean to, but I'm processing. I need to process this because I'm so effing confused. Is it me or is it them? Oh, right?
100% agreed with that.
Yeah. And so there is a fine line between gossip and working it out, right? So as you need to talk about somebody, do it in a sacred space. Do it with a sacred person that's not going to carry out their, and it's not about talking about their personal issues. It's not like, oh yeah, did you hear about this? And she did this. Can you believe that? It's not that. That's gossip. It's like, she said that to me and it feels funny, and is it her issue or is it mine? You know, it's kind of working it through that way. So there's a fine line. Hi, Callie. Yeah.
I got a problem downstairs.
Oh, do you? What happened? Hold on a sec. Hold on. Sorry, guys. This is Callie. This is my little girl. What's up, baby girl?
That I was watching the Me movie that is
Okay.
called Bee Movie.
I will be right down in a minute, Callie.
And,
Just sit on the bed. I will be down in a second.
okay.
I thought it was a real problem, but apparently it was the Bee Movie problem. Okay, so the thing probably stopped. So okay, so there is a certain amount of innocence to working it out. This is where you got to check in with your heart. This is where you have to check in to see if it's betrayal or if it's innocence. Because someone might take something wrong or judge you for trying to work this out and blame you for a gossip, where you have to know the difference within yourself of what is gossip and what is working it out. And I think there's going to be some some intensity. Again, I have the Tower card. So there might be a shake up in a relationship, but it might not have anything to do with you. It might have to be doing that it has something to do with something you've mirrored to them. And they're going to take something, and me and Mimi talked about it. It's like, you're being competitive with me. And if you check in, am I being competitive? Like, really take it in. Or you're doing this, take it in. It might be a blind spot, or it might be a projection. And that's when it can get really freaking tricky to figure out what is a blind spot, try on the shoes with their feedback. If the shoes are not your shoes, take those suckers off and own that I am again, right? Because that moon in Aries is helping with this energy. Right before that, remember who you are. Okay.
And it helps to have a friend like Nikki who you can talk to and be like, hey, is this me or is this their projection? So she's got to go take care of the B movie.
Let's go take care of the B movie. I'll let you do the Mercury indirect, and I will be right back. And then
Mercury direct. Hooray! Mercury is moving direct on Sunday, the 8th, January 8th at 1:43 a.m. And I've actually got beautiful cards for this. So again, Mercury has retrograded into Sagittarius. It's retrograding to 28 degrees Sagittarius. 28 degrees, that's that degree of knowing your worth energy. And I've got some beautiful cards. Like I said, I've got the Manifesting Miracles. I've got the Mystic card. I've got the Creator card. And just looking at these three cards together is saying, again, going back into Mercury into Sagittarius, where is your focus? What are you driving your focus on? Because Mercury ultimately is the power of the mind, and the power of your mind is your focus. And it's through your focus that you manifest. It's through your focus that you bring things into your reality. So what are you taking this aim at? The Manifesting Miracles card by Archangel Orion is thank you, Orion, for manifesting your miracles in my world. I just love the look of this card. It's hard to see, sorry, all the darkness. My computer is unhappy, as you've probably seen, as I've disappeared and come back and disappeared and come back. Mercury retrograde, and it's an old computer. I'm remedying this after Mercury goes direct, but it doesn't like the light so much. It prefers the dark, so because it gets hot and grumpy. So anyways, Manifesting Miracles, manifesting a new computer. The Mystic card, light attribute, revels in an intimate union with the divine. The Shadow attribute is delusional rapport with the divine. And I think that's the thing as you're manifesting is not getting caught up in, I want this thing. This is the thing that's going to make me happy. What I really feel like is getting energy into that creator energy. And this has been kind of my focus during Capricorn, showing up in that light, showing up in that creator energy. Mercury is going to move swiftly back into Capricorn, and we're going to be in this manifesting energy. But it's not through, I want this thing and I want this car. It's really getting into the energy of it and just not concentrating so much on the thing that's going to make you happy. It goes back to what we were saying in the beginning of the horoscope, coming back into your light and moving from that energy, coming back into you as the creator and moving from that energy. I've also got the Aloneness card, the Hermit card, and the We Are the World card. The Hermit card, what I get from this is my own personal experience. Sometimes it's better to be alone than to be with a naysayer. Sometimes it's better to be alone than be with the people who are really fast to be like, this is why you can't have that thing, or maybe you shouldn't be thinking that feeling, or blah, blah, blah. Really recognize when you may need to spend some time alone to be in your power, to get into your manifesty place. Oh, I have it turned around. To be in that manifesty place, to be in your mystical place, to be in the state of your power. And I find that I have to keep coming back to this alone space to get myself into it, to keep it in. I'm a Gemini rising. I'm a Sagittarius. I take in all this information and it just mulls around. The aloneness thing is one of the best processes for me so that I can be in this creator space. So as Mercury goes direct, pay attention to this energy. Spend some time alone. Spend some time focusing. The We Are the World card that I have, what keeps coming up for me around this is, as we drive this focus, I think one of the best things always to remember too is for the highest good of everyone involved, for the highest good of yourself, for the highest good of, you know, for the highest good of the world. Remembering that and you being in your light, you being in your power, that does that. But you may have to spend some time to realign to get into this energy of the creator. Now, I also want to mention, just because Mercury is direct does not mean that retrograde energy is done. We will still be in the shadow. And Nikki and I always talk about how the shadow sometimes is even more potent. So it's not like suddenly electronics, they're like, yay, we're good. There still may be stuff. It's okay. It's still about finding your flow with the energy and still recognizing where you may still be trying to control something. Instead of beaming your light at it, you're trying to control it. So really recognize those lessons that still may come up in that energy. Nicole?
Yeah. I'm having, I haven't.
Oh, I'll mute you again.
But Mercury direct, as it goes direct, it's still be in shadow, and you will get an echo because I have an echo of the cards as well. So the echoes of the cards, again, projections in reverse. We have transformation in reverse. We have the Thunderbolt card, again, 3 times in a row. I'm shuffling these, guys. And the intensity in reverse. So there is going to, you are going to be coming off of whatever is happening on Wednesday through Friday. There's going to be something happen, and you're going to be coming off of this. So there's going to be a setting of boundaries of sort, or something happening with somebody in your life, and it's still going to feel intense. And so you're going to continue processing what has happened, this miscommunication, this thing, and you can let it throw you if you want to, but what they're getting is connecting with this sisterhood. Like maybe like it would be like me and Mimi, it would be like something happened and I'm like, hey, I need to relay this with you. Like what is going on, you know, mirror to me my own stuff. So I realize where I'm at, kind of thing, to make you feel more anchored so you don't take on, because it might be you that blew up on them, but it also might be them that blew up on you. And so if they blew up on you, it's really easy, especially people who are sensitive, to really take it personally. And this is telling me, like, I'm getting this other card that's saying, play with me. Go play. Don't take it personally. You know what? And it doesn't mean that the friendship's over. It doesn't mean the relationship's over. It means that you got whatever's happening here in this projection energy. The projection got too thick. It needed to break apart. And as the pieces fall and fly everywhere, then you guys can go rubble through the debris. Then you'll be able to pick up the pieces, see what was yours, see what was theirs, and see what can be put back together, if anything. And if it doesn't need to be put back together, it needs to be let go. But this looks like it will probably be put back together in some fashion, different, but some fashion. But you needed to transform as a person, and so did they. And this energy is like, it's a lot of they. Like there is a transformation energy of they needed to do it. And so you were a catalyst, and maybe they were a catalyst for you too. But this is very much to hold the, okay, who am I? I can't take responsibility for their action, but I can take responsibility for the way I responded. I can't take responsibility for their opinions, but I can take responsibility on the way I feel about myself, right? So that's more important than how they feel about you. And even if they're like, well, you should listen to me because I can see your blind spot. Maybe it's their blind spot, and they're poking at you because they want to see it for themselves. But what I want you to really focus on is how you feel about yourself, how you respond, more than going into the drama paradigm with the other person. You don't have to go in a drama. Even if there is a falling out, you don't have to go to the drama. Go play. I know that sounds funny. Drama's happening and there's you dancing in the storm. And that's okay. Dance in the storm. Let everybody fall apart. You don't have to save anybody. Just because you're falling apart doesn't mean there's anything wrong. That's the crazy thing. It's like when somebody's going through somebody, oh my God, we got to save them. We got to hug them. We got to make it okay. No, let them go through their shit. Let them fall apart from the seams. Let them break apart, because whatever needs to be broken apart, when they shatter, I get that picture Mimi used to have. It's like that hardened statue, and the light's coming through, and as the statue breaks apart, they become themselves. They become the light that was always within them. That hardened shell had to leave. So let it break apart. They don't need to be saved. Just it's okay. It's all good. It's all blessings, to be honest with you. So let the falling apart be a blessing and dance in the ashes.
My cards from Angel Prayers for the moon into Gemini, also on Sunday, is live your joy and shine your light. So, right there, we have this energy. And that is Mercury in Sagittarius, and here's the Gemini energy. Here we have these other mutable energies that are like, can you change? What is that? I'm thinking of that X-Men person, the blue one. Can you shapeshift? Can you change? He wasn't necessarily, but I don't know, for some reason she popped into my head. But can you just change? Can you shift from this place? Can you not get into that drama? Can you stay focused on what you're creating? Can you stay focused in your light? The moon in Gemini is one that wants to have fun. It wants to enjoy itself. And sometimes people will argue that it's too light, but that's kind of the energy that I'm getting with this, is be in that light. We've had enough heaviness. You've done the work this week. There's been a lot of integration. We worked with that Pluto. Sunday, have some fun. Shine your light. Live your joy. Leave the past in your behind. I'm Pumbaa. I have clinging to the past. But leave that energy. You did that work. You came into some sort of union, some kind of understanding, and now it's really time to enjoy. Here we've got Zorba the Buddha. It's like you've done your spiritual work. Now some of your earth work is to enjoy yourself. She's got Zorba the Buddha too. So shine your light, live your joy, get into that abundant energy. That's how you create. From the archetypes, I have advocate. And to me, I'm being an advocate for your fun. I'm being an advocate for your inner child. I'm being an advocate for your joy. It says inspires you to put compassion into action. Put your play, put that light into action. The shadow attribute, embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. Don't get into that control paradigm. Don't get into the Capricorn Messiah paradigm. Be in the joy paradigm. Be in the I'm a lighthouse, here's my joy paradigm. Be in the Zorba the Buddha paradigm, and let those little pieces all just come and work themselves out. Nicole?
Okay, so this Gemini energy, this is interesting. And I pulled 3 cards for more information, and they all said the same darn thing. Ready? Safe to fall. Trust, which is falling. Safe to fall. Or what else would this look like? Not just falling. It would look grace in full flight. So what the heck is that? What does that mean? Well, once the tower hits and everything goes, you go flying out the window and you're like, wow, I'm falling. But are you falling? Or are you flying? And then here I go with my Disney thing. You're not flying, you're falling with style, Buzz Lightyear, right? So we're gonna fall with style. Let's make it look pretty. As the tower blows up, let's look as graceful coming out of that window as possible and enjoy the ride. Because honestly, you have to let go of control. There's nothing you could have done to stop whatever this thing is going to happen. It's not in any of your control. What needed to happen is you needed to be burst out of that window so you learned how to fly. You got kicked out of the nest. You got kicked out of your comfort zone because you had to learn how to fly by yourself without this person's opinions, without their restrictive ideas, without their restrictive opinions, without any of this. You don't need that control. You don't need that paradigm anymore. Now your safety net, it's like there's this card that in this game that I play, it said the safety net was removed, but you learned how to fly. Okay, So now the safety net's gone. Awesome. Now go use your darn wings. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the energy I'm getting from this is like, you don't, and I have the past life card in reverse. I have this abundant. Remember who you are. Remember that you've always been abundant. You've never needed a safety net, and that you never needed this safety net. It almost feels like this person it feels like almost this abuse, or not just abuse. I don't like the word abuse because it gets misused so often. But it feels like this control paradigm where this person was like, you need me. You need me to survive. You need me to do this. And it's like, no, you've never needed them. That has always just been something that they needed you because they needed to feel needed. They needed to feel wanted. They needed something from you. You don't need that anymore. This is saying like that whole, and this is a past life in reverse card. And that's telling me like you never needed the fantasy. You never needed any of that. You go. Fly. Go fly out of the nest and let go of this old paradigm. Embrace who you are. Embrace the creativity. Embrace the feminine energy. Embrace who you are. You don't, it almost feels like you don't need a man. It's like you don't need, but you don't need this old paradigm. You don't need it. Let it go. Let it fall. It's safe to fall. It's safe to fly. Fly with grace. Fall with style. That's it. That's all I got.
So much Disney in there. Remember who you are.
Remember. We got Mufasa going on. We got Buzz Lightyear going on. I love the fall with style. I wasn't fly, I was falling with style, right? So it's like, that's what I get. It's like, if you're going to get blasted out from the blasted tower, make that shit look as cool as possible.
There's also a little bit of Elsa in there, or is it, who says let it go? I don't know.
Yeah, Elsa.
So yeah, we got some children's movies covered in that. So that's it for this week. I mean, what a week to come back with all this shift and all this change. And my hope is that we will be regularly, and my hope is that I'm going to have a new computer, which isn't going to turn off every 5 seconds, because that is frustrating to the control issue person in me.
My control issue came up too. Well, it is what it is. My control issue came up too. So mirrored, me and me had mirrored control issues.
See, this is the dark side of the light workers. We all got to work through these things. We recognize them, we laugh at them, and then we move on. We're like, all right, there it is. So it's beautiful. I want to mention I have my sale for another week through Mercury Going Direct. I'm keeping up my sale to work with me for 2017. So it's a package of 6 readings or 12 readings. For 6 readings, it's $180. For 12 reading, it's $300, not $30, $300. That's 2 free readings. And my prices are all going up. Individual readings and then, these packages are all going up come Mercury Going Direct, just a little bit after that. So now's a really great time to do that. And the people who show up monthly, it's really beautiful to watch the progress and watch the process of working month to month with your chart and what's transiting. And it's a really great opportunity to really, get into the language. So if you're being curious about it, you can email me, mimiclark@gmail.com, or you can do that at GaiaBlooming.com.
Yeah, my sale is going today. So I did it for the new year. I actually took it till the 2nd. But my prices are going up as well. Sorry, guys. I have to focus on some other things. But if you really want a reading, I wanted to make them available. I'm not making them like ridiculously outrageous. Like I'm not jacking them up that high, because I'm going to be doing a lot more group stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot more workshops and more like small group stuff. So it makes it more affordable for people. So people who can't do, they will have my individual time. But I'm still working on some of that stuff, and it will be like 4-week things. So like 4 to 6 weeks. So I've been asked to do a tarot, learning a tarot class. So I'm going to be offering that for you guys. And so I think I'm going to be offering that in February. So just keep a lookout for that. And if there's any other topics or certain themes that you'd like to go into for 4 weeks, email me at Nicole@NicoleOman.com. And we can go into something, we can go into more relationships, or we can go into how to let go of past life karmas or whatever that is. If you give me a theme and I get enough people that want to do a group session for 4 weeks, then we can do that as well. Cool.
I just want to say about group sessions, the nice thing is that beyond Nikki holding that energy, which she does great, any group settings, you learn as much from the other people, because sometimes they have something that's never occurred to you within yourself. And so, you know, some people are like, groups, blah, 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 I want the attention. You're still going to get one-on-one attention with Nikki, but you have the benefit of the others. And that's always a really powerful thing.
Yeah, so the way mine usually works is like, as groups, we all talk about what's coming up, and usually most of the time, except maybe there's once in a while that it's kind of off on their own tangent, which is fine. It happens, but like usually the group is on the same path. And what's really cool about the groups is, again, you get all of that, but you have my expertise of safety. So if somebody's getting out of line, I can go, no, and I keep you safe, first of all, because there's a lot of there could be some crosstalk that isn't in alignment, and I keep you safe with that. And two, if you really need to go and we find it, I'm really, really good at processing. So I will help you process what's coming up for you. And when you process in the group, the entire group processes, and it's really cool.
Awesome. Well, check that out. And you can find Nikki on Facebook, Nicole Oman. Yeah.
Yes. Nicole, I mean, yeah, my personal page is what everybody goes to, and I kind of dig it because it just kind of turned into that. But you can follow me on there, and I do my daily guidances every single day, and you can just follow me on Gaia Blooming because I put them up there too.
Yeah. So check us out. Like this. We're happy to be back. Yay! This was so fun. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully, ideally, let's pray to the Mercury gods. We will be here next week and see you next week. Namaste.
Namaste.